Well, thank you, Amy. Appreciate your time today, as well as the folks tuning in. My name again is Tony Caputo. Today, we want to talk about how modern remote fuel system monitoring helps to drive speed, compliance, and profitability at a regional or national chain of convenience stores or travel centers. Today, in the remote fuel system monitoring space, we frequently encounter large regional and national chains still using labor-intensive processes to detect delivery, forecourt, and fuel system issues. These sizable operators may still have a lot of manual or legacy processes in place related to fuel inventory tracking or addressing suspected fuel leaks or losses. I believe there's work that can be done to help fuel operators become more aware of the latest technology that exists in these spaces so they can make the best use of their technology spend. Often, these sophisticated organizations are still using spreadsheets, phone polling, paper logs, and reactive workflows to manage millions of gallons of fuel at dozens of fueling locations. To me, the interesting part, it's not because the technology isn't there, it absolutely is. The gap is really in awareness and adoption of the technology. Today, again, we see many fuel operators not taking advantage of today's available technology when it comes to customer-facing forecourt monitoring, compliance, and protecting their most expensive asset, their fuel inventories. Manual processes can be labor-intensive and inefficient, stressing their resources. Modern processes can eliminate a large amount of manual work, provide more insight, and free up resources to attack the recognized issues quickly. All issues affect your customer or your bottom line. Reducing these issues can lead to higher profitability and less friction for your customer. Why do these manual processes still exist? Well, really, a lot of this, Amy, comes down to how companies have grown over time. They've acquired sites, inherited different systems, and built processes over time that work, but maybe aren't optimized. And frankly, some of these manual processes started as temporary fixes, and they just never went away. There's also still a mindset in part of the industry that says we trust our people and processes, which is great, but it doesn't always scale when you're managing hundreds of sites or acquiring additional locations with existing staff. Many operators grew through acquisitions, inheriting different ATG or automatic tank gauge systems, different processes by region or brand, inconsistent data standards. Manual processes often start as temporary fixes that then become permanent. Some operators trust people and process over automation or store level accountability versus centralized visibility. Basically, what started as a workaround has quietly become the operating model. Another reason for having or leaving legacy systems in place, the operators aren't just managing fuel, they're also managing data silos. There's often a struggle between compliance and operations and finance. No real unified data view, or limited budgets for investment and inconsistent workflows. Quite often, these are difficult obstacles and difficult to overcome for those in most urgent need of solutions, the managers actually doing the work. Advanced remote monitoring can bridge some of these gaps, eliminating unnecessary work and helping fuel operators address issues faster and more effectively. Data fragmentation can also be a big problem as well. The real challenge isn't a lack of data, it's that the data lives in different places. You've got tank monitors, POS systems, back office systems, and they're not always talking to each other in real time. So what ends up happening is the operator becomes the integration layer. They're the ones trying to connect the dots, and that's where things can break down. The fuel ecosystem is highly fragmented between different brands of ATGs, different POS systems, different networks, different back office accounting systems. And most of these systems don't communicate in real time or require a lot of manual reconciliation across several data sources. The problem isn't the lack of data, it's the lack of connected data. And that's where a remote monitoring system that ties all these pieces together can come into play and make a difference. Some operators try to build the systems themselves, which may not always be their expertise. Just like my company, we don't pretend to know the first thing about selling fried chicken, but we do know fuel system monitoring. Companies should take advantage of the experts to move their technology along at a faster pace. As far as making the shift to exception-based operations, it's pivotal for achieving increased efficiencies. And this is where I think there's a real opportunity for groups like this, not to push specific solutions, but to help educate the market. Things like clarifying what is a leak versus a loss, sharing best practices, and providing benchmarks. Helping operators understand what's possible with what they already have, because a lot of operators are closer than they think, they just don't realize it. Instead of reviewing everything, focus only on the anomalies. What are the benefits of that? Faster decisions, less noise, more accountability. So making the operational shift from reviewing all data to act on just what matters is paramount. The future isn't more data, it's really about less noise and taking faster action when it comes to remote monitoring technology. There's also still a perception that adopting these technologies is complex or risky, especially from an IT or security standpoint. But modern solutions today are actually designed to minimize that impact. No VPN requirements, secure outbound connections, things like that. So in many cases, the barrier isn't technical, it's just outdated assumptions. Some common objections are we don't want access to our network, or there are security risks with the tank monitors. What's the reality? Modern solutions use outbound only connections, avoid VPN dependencies, keeping systems away from your credit card or customer information. And all solutions are usually PCI compliant, of course. Security concerns are valid, but often based on outdated assumptions. So today's best solutions improve security, they don't compromise it. So what are some of the advantages of remote fuel system monitoring? This often consists of connecting to real-time ATGs or automatic tank monitors and fuel controllers. It allows for the continuous monitoring of several existing systems already in place and can help you obtain exception-based alerting on many critical metrics in your forecourt and your fuel systems. This information, these reports can also be displayed on centralized dashboards, and they can be made accessible via your desktop, your tablet, even in the field on mobile phones, making your people more flexible and nimble as they do their work every day. What we also see are highly capable teams spending a lot of time on low-value tasks, reviewing logs, chasing alarms, investigating variances manually. That time could be better spent actually improving operations. The opportunity here is to let systems handle the routine work so people can focus on making the right decisions. As store teams spend time on manual logs, noisy ATG alarm reviews, or time-consuming loss investigations, this is non-revenue generating work. It's often duplicated across your company by several individuals, and it's fraught with error. There's an opportunity to automate routine tasks around via automated filtered alerts, more insightful and automated reporting, and advanced workflows. Highly paid teams today may be doing low-value work because systems aren't doing it for them. How can modern technology help? They can give you more real-time visibility, exception-based alerting, automate delivery verifications, make sure you're getting your fuel loads, automate your inventory reconciliation, help you with peace of mind to make sure that your systems aren't leaking, losing product, having product stolen through dispensers or the tank systems, as well as meter drift, giving away of product. And finally, helping with forecourt performance monitoring around flow rates and down dispenser detection. Another big problem that lies with how fuel operators account for their fuel inventories is the search for excessive fuel variances. The process today is predominantly statistical in nature, taking data points from various sources, tank level reports, delivery bill of ladings, POS systems for metered sales, and other sources. Each one of these data points can be fraught with error, and when combined, can lead to very large fuel variances as well as write-offs. We see this all the time. There's a variance, and now someone has to go investigate it. They start with deliveries, then check tank readings, then recalibrate the meters, then determine, well, it may be a leak. And before you know it, you've gone hours or days spent chasing something that may not even be a real issue. And that's a huge drain on time and resources, as well as an interruption of your business, because oftentimes fuel systems have to be shut down while they're investigating these. And the bigger issue is you're reacting after the fact instead of catching it in real time. What happens when a fuel variance does show up? The teams check their deliveries, double check their charts, recalibrate, and send out expensive third-party testing to do disruptive testing of lines or tanks. Unfortunately, due to this expense, operators have a tendency to delay testing in the hope that the fuel variance will come back in time or go away. This can often result in a costly fuel release event, costly cleanup, and the shutdown of the operations for some time, not to mention the risk of a fine and EPA violations. These investigations can take hours per incident and days to resolve. Often, the end result is no issue is found, or there's delayed identification of the true cause of the issue, wasting labor hours, delaying decision-making, and frustrating your teams. In reality, operators can spend much more time chasing problems than solving them. The other area that a remote fuel system monitoring system can help with is in your forecourt performance, how your customers experience the lanes at your C-stores and travel centers. Slow fuel flow rates, down dispensers, or even underperforming lanes, those are revenue issues, not just maintenance issues. If a customer pulls in and it takes too long or a pump is down, they're just not leaving that pump. They may leave your site entirely. And that impacts inside sales as well. Fuel monitoring isn't just tanks, it's also customer experience. Those key issues can include slow flow rates, down or dormant fueling positions as well. So when you think about that, what is the impact of down dispensers or flow rates or slow flow rates? You lose gallons, you lose in-store traffic, you frustrate your customers, and both of these issues can take precious time away from your customer. What customer out there has time in their day to spend an extra 10 minutes trying to get a tank of gas or driving around your fuel islands to find a working dispenser? And I think we all can answer that, no one. Maybe a customer will do it one time, but they may not repeat. And that's where it can cost you some money. At Warren Rogers, we show that a single down dispenser can cost operators over 10% of their site gallon throughput. Just a single dispenser, because it may be the busiest dispenser at your station. And that improving nozzle flow rate, just 2 or 3 gallons per minute for the customer, can increase not only transaction size, but the number of transactions per day at your fuel lanes. We strongly believe that every slow nozzle is a lost customer and likely a lost in-store sale. We cannot emphasize that enough. But the inverse is also true. Strong dispenser uptime, fast-flowing nozzles can lead to more gallons, more transactions, more gallons per every transaction, and you're giving your customers back more time in their day. And maybe they just might come into your store more often, which we know is also the ultimate goal at a convenience or travel center. So a focus on forecourt performance can also help to extend the life of your equipment and maximize the capital that you've already spent. Operators often feel the need to build new or larger fuel centers. Well, that cost means they can only build or expand 1 or 2 locations a year across the chain. With a focus on forecourt performance, you can actually maximize your sales in your other 50 locations using existing equipment, taking less pressure off of a new store building program or a competitive response. More dispensers and new stores are not always the answer if you're not maximizing what you already have. To summarize, with advanced remote fuel system monitoring, you can identify slow flow trends, target clogged filters faster, respond to alarm conditions faster, monitor forecourt performance more effectively, and prioritize maintenance repair. When it does come to maintenance repair, There are several benefits around maintenance cost reduction. By targeted maintenance, targeting just the dispensers or the filters that need to be changed can save you 75% or more compared to a routine filter change out, whether the dispenser needs it or not. Again, you're eliminating unnecessary service. You're detecting issues before the customer recognizes that it's a problem. That's the key to good flow rate monitoring and control. And plus, the other tools can help you optimize the dispatch of your maintenance folks, sending them where they need to go based on priority, based on the impact of a down dispenser to a location, or the number of dispensers that might be acting up at a station. Some additional final benefits that come from a modern fuel system monitoring solution are related to compliance, loss detection, and fuel inventory reconciliation. One of the primary benefits can be the automation of 30-day EPA tank and line leak detection and compliance reporting. Today, modern systems can track compliance testing results in real time and provide fuel operators with a heads up before a deadline approaches. This gives the operator time to address system issues before receiving a non-compliance report. Systems can also auto-create the compliance reports and store them for future inspections and digital retrieval. This can replace a lot of store work around collecting on-site documents and give fuel operators more peace of mind around the compliance reporting requirements in every state. Most importantly, bringing issues to their attention when monitoring equipment is in need of repair. Many large organizations also remain dependent on old school reconciliation systems that use statistical data from various sources to determine their current inventory position and EPA compliance. Systems today exist that can help eliminate this manual process through real-time reconciliation between what is being dispensed through the nozzle to the amount of product leaving the tank. When variances occur, it's indicative of a fuel leak, a theft through the dispenser, theft from the tank, a dispenser meter error, or a delivery shortage. As we all know, fuel theft has become more commonplace in the industry, with more creative ways discovered to steal fuel. Modern fuel system monitoring systems can catch this loss almost in real time, helping operators address the security gap, warn neighboring stores, and build a timely case for police investigation. On the other hand, fuel variances can be the result of delivery shortages. These variances can go undetected, as most back office reconciliations do not know the amount of cells dispensed during a delivery or the temperature impact of gain or shrink on a delivery. If a delivery amount is within 100 gallons of the bill of lading, then that variance is often ignored. Larger variances may require more time-consuming investigations, often resulting in inconclusive results or assumptions. Variances can also cover true leaks or thefts going months before being discovered. With real-time and continuous fuel monitoring, which is available, losses, thefts, and leaks are detected in almost real time. Precise fuel delivery amounts can also be compared to fuel bills of lading to detect consistent shortage trends, leading to more investigation or credit from haulers and suppliers. To recap, leaks that occur are environmental issues and very serious in nature, as we all know, but fuel losses are predominantly what affects your bottom line the most and occur most often. Modern systems can help to detect these losses in more real time than traditional accounting. In the end, not only do you solve for the losses, you save staff time and avoid the hard cost of unnecessary investigative testing. And when it comes to staff efficiency, the benefits are also numerous. Insightful automated alerting for faster resolution, centralized dashboards to better monitor locations and drill into metrics and additional reporting, and staff efficiency tools to help your staff better track inspections, deadlines, assets, and compliance documentation. What are the other business impacts? As far as benefits, higher gallon throughput, better equipment productivity, higher dispenser uptime and faster flow for your customers, lowered maintenance costs, and reduced compliance risks. And all of this can also result in additional sales inside of your stores and, of course, additional staff efficiency so your folks can work on the other important initiatives in your organization. When it comes to return on investment, that's often a big challenge for putting in new technology. ROI, or the return on investment, is also an interesting one in this space because a lot of the benefit comes from what you prevent, not just what you gain. If you're not seeing the losses today, it's hard to really justify the investment. But when you start identifying things like delivery shortages, meter drift, slow flow rates, and the impact on your customer and sales, the ROI can become very real very quickly. ROI is often hidden because losses are not visible and inefficiencies have become normalized. We know that operators track costs explicitly, but they don't track avoided losses, time saved, or increased throughput. ROI should include loss prevention efforts, uptime gains, and labor savings as well. Frankly, you can't justify the investment if you can't see the problem. Compliance and maintenance staff must educate leadership on the cost and time consumed that could be decreased with more automation and insight. How do you change? How do you change going forward? The good news is this doesn't have to be a massive transformation overnight. The operators we see having success start small, pilot a few sites, focus on high volume locations, proving the value, and then scaling up. Technology adoption fails often due to lack of training, lack of internal champions, or resistance from field teams. But true success requires executive buy-in, clear workflows, and measurable wins. Frankly, this is not an IT project, it's an operational transformation as you adopt a remote monitoring system. And technology doesn't usually fail, but implementation can. And that's why it's critical to approach it with everybody all in. So to finalize the keys, the benefits of a remote monitoring system, it helps you to stop reacting, helps you to gain more control early on, detect the issues before your customers are affected, and everything, of course, is to help fuel your profitability. With that, I will turn it back over to Amy.